Well, hello, welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger. Um, Today is Thursday, obviously, January 26th, 2023. Now, what you are looking at is part of my Christmas gift, and this is a very special Christmas gift I brought back from California. This is my very personal kitten coffee mug. Yeah, it is a coffee mug that have the picture, a Christmas photo, a kitten and I and kitten's mom took in the photo studio before Christmas. I hope you guys can see it on screen because I personally, obviously, I can't see the picture myself, so I hope someone can see it and enjoy it. I'm going to bring it closer to the camera, so hopefully you guys can make it out. It's really cool to have the picture of you and your girlfriend family on the coffee mug. I love this thing. Now, if you have signed up to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you would have seen these Christmas photos posted there as well as a lot of other really cool random photos I take during my daily life. So if you haven't, head over to Twitter or Instagram, follow at Johnny Tiger 1981 at Johnny Tiger 1981. Now, as usual, Uh, when I first returned from my vacation, I like to dedicate one episode to just show off the souvenirs I hunted down during my vacation. Now, this time, while I was away in California, unlike the previous times, I was very, very stingy. Okay, I exercised great self-control. Uh, Excuse me while I adjust the camera a little bit. It's kind of leaned a little bit. There we go. So I exercised great personal control, and I didn't go out of my way to hunt down any action figure. Uh, if you haven't seen the past video, yes, every time I go to stateside, I love to take the opportunity to hunt down some action figures that is really hard to get here in Canada. It's because it's usually so much easier to find them there in the US and it's so much cheaper to ship them. But like I said, this time, due to various reasons, I exercised self-control and I didn't go out of my way to hunt down any action figure. But that doesn't mean I didn't come home with any, because while I was there, a few of my pre-ordered action figures came due. So rather than having them shipped to Canada, I decided to have them shipped to Kitten's address, and I picked them up there and packed them up and brought them back to Canada. Now, if you wonder, when I say it's cheaper to get them on the state side, if you wonder exactly how much cheaper are we talking about, why would you go to the trouble of getting your figures shipped to Kitten and then you pick them up and then bring them back to Canada? Is it really worth it? Well, let me tell you guys this. The figures I picked up this time, if I were to have them shipped to Canada, I would have to pay shipping fee about 70 US dollar shipping fee upfront, and then by the time they got to Canada, I would have to pay another $140 for handling and uh, duty and taxes and all that stuff. So I would have been out over $200, okay, just to get them to Canada. Picking them up stateside, having them shipped to Kitten's address. I want you guys to pause a second and guess how much it cost me. Having them shipped to stateside only cost me $25. $25, yes. $25 versus $200. Yeah, no contest. Okay, I hate to say this, being a action figure collector in Canada officially sucks. But anyway, that depressing business aside, like I was saying, I did manage to come home with quite a handful of action figures that I pre-ordered. Um, so today, rather than focusing on one action figure, I'm going to just give you guys a quick tour of the 10 or so action figures that I came home with. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each of them. I'm just going to show them to you and talk a little bit about them. But don't worry, they will come back in a future episode where we'll devote more specific time on each figure. I promise. So, without further ado, let's get started. First off, we have this very special, really, really special, pretty exclusive action figure of Father Christmas made by the Four Horsemen Studio in the Figura Obscura toy line. Uh, and this is something that you can only buy on their website or some other online toy distributor. You can't walk into a store just to buy this. Okay, this is not like a child's toy where you can walk into Walmart or Toys R Us or Target to get. This is very exclusive stuff. Cost an arm and a leg, and um, if you have been a fan of the Four Horsemen Studios action figures, or if you have seen my review of them, then you know that even though it's expensive, you are getting uh, your money worth. Just the box alone is a work of art. At least that's what I was told. I can't physically see it, but I was told that there's some beautiful artwork on the box itself. This is why I haven't even taken this out of the box yet. Now, when this action figure was announced, it was very last minute. Like, I almost didn't get it. Um, the Four Horsemen announced it that the sale of this action figure coming out like a week before I left to go on my vacation. So I had this huge mental struggle that, oh man, I'm not going to get this because it's going to ship here to Canada and I won't be here to receive it, and I don't want it to get lost. So finally, I asked Kitten if I could just get this shipped to her place, and it worked out fine. Uh, Now, on one hand, I am not like a super Christmassy person, so spending a lot of money getting a Father Christmas action figure was really a spirit of the moment thing. But number one, I've been a supporter of Four Horsemen Studio for many, many years. I love almost everything they do. And number two, I mean, come on. If you collect any kind of action figure or statue or figurine, you need to have some pop icons. Like there are just some figures or characters that you need to have to at least show people that you are not living under a rock. So I figured that hey, a action figure of Santa Claus or Father Christmas would be super super cool. Now, like I said, I haven't even taken Father Christmas out of his box yet. So I'm actually suffering a little bit of jealousy here because you guys get to see what he looked like, while I still have no idea what's inside the box. So anyway, that is one of the little woes of being a blind action figure collector. But I hope you guys are seeing this. I was told that it's very well done. It's a really well done action figure. Just a side note, after Four Horsemen came out with the Father Christmas action figure, it was announced on Big Bad Toy Store website that there's a company called Fresh Monkey Fiction that made a whole lot of Santa Claus action figures. And guess what? Those Santa Claus action figures, each one of them is about a quarter of the price of this one, and they are almost the same size. So yeah, I am a little bit annoyed. I would say this: if I knew that other Santa Claus action figures were coming out, I probably most likely would have skipped on this one. Now, with that said, like I said, I have been a supporter of Four Horsemen Studio for a long time, so I know that my money definitely got me something really cool. I am looking forward to opening this sooner or later. Um, but yeah, sometimes this is something that you it's like gambling in action figure collecting. You think, oh wow, there's something uh, really cool. I should get it. And then next day, someone else make 10 or 20 versions of that thing much cheaper. Yeah, that really pissed me off. So now we'll put Father Christmas aside and we'll move on. Next up, we have this gigantic box from NECA that I've been really looking forward to. This is one of the Predators uh, from the Predators franchise, and this one is called the Stoneheart Predator, and I believe he is from the Predator video game. I don't personally know the character. I just think a gigantic, cybernetically enhanced alien killer predator thing is just really cool. This was impulse, definitely an impulse buy. It's not some character that I was familiar with. This was someone that I read about, and I thought, wow, this would be really cool to have in hand. And I don't know if you guys can make it out. The box is really big, uh, and really make me kind of hyped up. Can't wait to open this. If the box is this big, the figure inside got to be pretty impressive. Now, ironically, despite of how big this box is, this action figure actually cost a heck of a lot less than Father Christmas. Yeah, yeah, ironic. The box is almost twice the size of the box that Father Christmas was in, and this cost about half as much. Father Christmas was, like I said, really exclusive and expensive action figure. Uh, Now, this guy's not cheap either. This Stoneheart Predator is about, if I remember, like $50. So he's definitely not a cheap action figure. But comparing to something like Father Christmas, he is just middle of the road when it comes to pricing. I was told that there's some nice artwork on the box, so I hope you guys can see it and enjoy it. Because again, doesn't do me any good. Opening the box again. I have not personally opened this yet, so I don't know anything about how this guy looks, what he comes with, uh, what he feels like in hand. But I hope you guys can see him and appreciate him because I know he is a pretty large and imposing figure, and honestly, I can't wait to get my grubby little paws on him. Moving on, in no particular order, here is Jitsu from Master of the Universe. This one was made by Mattel in the Masterverse line, which is relatively new. I only started collecting the Masterverse action figures at early last year. And I'm really cherry picking these guys because I didn't really pay attention to Masters of the Universe when I was growing up, so I don't have that big of a personal connection to the show or the storyline. So I mostly just get the characters as I think they would be cool. And this one, as most of you know, I have a thing for Asian action figures, Asian characters. And Jitsu is this sword wielding, karate chopping, very samurai looking character. He's like totally weird, like a half ninja, half samurai, half something else. But yeah, definitely got a lot of Asian influence. So I thought it would be cool to have him on my shelf. On first impression, like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into each character, otherwise we'll be going to be here all night long. But on first impression, this is a very solidly built action figure. I think kids would definitely enjoy playing with this guy. He's very sturdy and definitely can take a bit of punishment. Personally, though, I find that he looks kind of pudgy. I know most of that is the samurai armor he's wearing. The armor apparently is removable, although I don't know why you would want to, because if you remove the armor, then he doesn't look like Jitsu anymore. Uh, but yeah, the removable armor makes him look kind of chunky and chubby, uh, which I don't know if he's supposed to look like that in the show, but that's my first impression of the guy. And next up, we have also from Masterverse by Mattel. This is uh, Frosta. She is companion to She-Ra, and she is like the Empress or Queen of Ice and Winter and all that cool stuff. I have no knowledge of the character or She-Ra as a whole. When I was little, I would figure that She-Ra was for girls. Um, Although I do vaguely remember seeing this character in passing as I scroll past an episode of She-Ra on YouTube one time. She comes with a staff that I'm not showing here, and she also has some cool feature. There's this ice blast or magic effect that clipped over her hand so she can look like she's in the middle of conjuring up a blast of ice. And she got transparent, translucent hair that actually will change color if you put her head in water. Now, obviously, that doesn't do anything for me as a blind person, so I'm not going to attempt it. But if you have this figure, just know that if you dip her head in cold water, it will change to a darker color. The hair will uh, change to a darker color, and if you dip her head in warm water, I think the hair will get to a lighter color. So that's pretty cool. She is, at first impression, a pretty enough action figure. She comes with some cool gimmick. Uh, the cape on her back is soft good with cloth, and she has a magic effect for her hand and color changing hair. And on her staff, there's a little wheel thingy that can turn. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, apparently that's accurate to the show. She is just like Jitsu in that she is a very sturdy action figure that I think kids would really enjoy playing with. And now we move to a different company. This action figure is called Putrid. He is from the Power Rangers Wild Force line, made by Hasbro. Now, I have no idea what the heck is a Putrid. From what little I read, he or they, the putrids, are like foot soldiers for the evil guys. And so they're like the Foot Clan for the Ninja Turtles, or any kind of other like random, easily disposed of henchmen that you will see, like the Patrol and uh, the Cog, and all those other random cannon fodders. Um, Now, honestly, this is a figure that I really should have cancelled. Now that I have him in hand, he is not impressive at all. To me, he's like just a weird looking Power Ranger. There's nothing special. When I heard the name Putrid, I was thinking maybe it's like a zombie, like a decaying, zombified looking creature, then that would be pretty cool. But yeah, this guy just looks like another Power Ranger. He does come with this weird looking baseball bat, spiky baseball bat weapon, and he has a few different hands that you can put on, so he can have chopping hand, punching hand, different martial art poses. But overall, in construction, in size, he's pretty small and just there's nothing all that special about this guy. There is an energy effect you can put on him or on his weapons, so it looks like he's using some kind of powerful attack. So I guess at least that's something. I mean, it's always good to have extra henchmen on the shelf for your heroes to fight, but yeah, honestly, this guy, I can't remember how much he cost, like 25 bucks or 29 bucks US. Really, way too much money for something like this, Hasbro. I mean, I understand price is going up for everything, but something like this is just not cool. Now we're going to take a quick pause here because I think some people watching this video, if you're still with me at this point, you may think in your head, so why do you buy something when you can't see it? Why would you buy something? You keep complaining about this figure is not good because it's not what you thought it would be like, and the putrid is kind of puny. And why would you go out of your way to spend money on something when you didn't know what it looked like? That doesn't make sense. Let me tell you guys, when I first came to Canada, my vocabulary, my understanding of English was so limited that one of the few ways for me to learn what things were was to try them. I didn't know what lasagna was. So when people asked me if I wanted lasagna, I just said yes, and then I didn't. People asked me, "Do you want Lucky Charms cereal?" I had no idea what Lucky Charms cereal was. I said yes. Why? Because I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn what things tasted like, what were possible, what were the availability. I wanted to learn about this country, this culture, what kind of food people like to eat. So this is the same when I get action figures. If you have never been blind, this might not make a lot of sense. But if you are blind, you need to uh, be willing to reach out into the dark, pun intended, and grasp and learn what you have no prior knowledge of. And this is part of collecting action figures for a blind person. Is sometimes you have very little to go by. You read a few reviews, watch a few videos on YouTube, and you go by the name of the action figure. You read the character biography, and you think, okay, that's a character I would love to learn about. And then you spend money, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And speaking of winning, here is a definite win. This is SGT Slaughter from G.I. Joe, made by, yeah, also Hasbro. Yeah, see, Hasbro, you can make good stuff. You don't need to do something like lame, like Putrid. Like, okay, I know some people might really like the Putrid action figure, but you know, uh, each to his own. But you charge almost the same price, and this versus Putrid is it's very different. So like I said, SGT Slaughter come from GI Joe. Now I did not grow up watching GI Joe. I've seen a few episodes here and there, but hey, I grew up in Taiwan, so why would I watch something that's clearly marked as GI Joe, American Hero? Like, yeah, like it's not. It didn't resonate with a Taiwanese boy like me. With that said, I waited years and years and years for them to come up with 6-inch G.I. Joe action figures because I love military characters. I love military special forces characters. I love soldiers because I have a little bit of connection, as some of you know, teaching Krav Maga and have been in the boot camp myself as a teenager. I have that sort of a very fundamental connection to the military. Uh, well, tenuous connection to the military, should I say? Um, so I always loved more soldier-like, military-like action figures. So I couldn't wait for them to come up with GI Joe action figures that would fit in with my collection. And finally, here they are. Now, for people who know who SGT Slaughter is, every time his name come up, he was like, "Oh, SGT Slaughter." He's like that. He's like the Chuck Norris of the action figure world. I personally have no idea who the blazers of SGT Slaughter. I know he was a wrestler and a real person, and he appeared in GI Joe, but that's about it. I have no idea if he was good at wrestling or what he was like and stuff like that. But hey, it's a GI Joe action figure, and this figure honestly is awesome. He is muscular and is very simple in his design, and the articulation worked really good. He is a good size figure, and he comes with enough accessories to make him look a little bit different.